Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in this evening's podcast, we're going to be previewing the start of the EPL season coming up on Friday. Liverpool versus Bournemouth is the first game up. Now, joining me this evening to talk some EPL football, we have returning to the podcast, Christoph.
Good to be back, viewers.
Yes, Christoph, it's a new day. It's the kick-off to the EPL season, something we've been anticipating all summer. The day is finally here, and the place is abuzz with excitement. Big games, big dreams, big hopes. That's the highlight of this period of time. All fans at this point are in with a shot, Christoph, until the first whistle goes. And that first whistle goes off on Friday evening. Big game on display. Defending champions Liverpool at home versus Bournemouth, one of those teams which really rose to the occasion last season, but have been decimated, I would say, with a number of transfers out. Kirkes, in particular, is now donning the red of Liverpool. He goes up against his old club. But what can we expect from this game, Christoph? Could we see the first upset of the season from the jump? Or will it be Liverpool gun to tape?
What would be an upset in this case? A draw?
Well,
Would a
Liverpool,
draw
a Liverpool
constitute?
defeat at home. That would be an
Okay.
upset. Bournemouth taking all 3 points off
Ah,
Liverpool in the first game after splashing the cash in the transfer window.
could Liverpool lose the very first game of the season? They very much could. I mean, they lost to Crystal Palace. We don't know if that has stung them, if they're sore from that loss. But it could also be a reaction game where they come out very strong in this match and Bournemouth get themselves decimated in that match. We did see where in preseason Man United did beat them 4-1. I don't necessarily read too much into some preseason games. If a team is winning all preseason games 4-0, 5-0, so on, fine. I don't take it as anything. But um I think Liverpool will win on opening day at Anfield, in my opinion. I think it's probably it will be a very strong Liverpool showing after the loss to Crystal Palace in the Community Shield. So I'm expecting Liverpool to win potentially 3-1, 3-0 that game.
3-1, 3-0. I think it's going to be close. I don't think Liverpool is firing on all cylinders just yet. And Bournemouth do possess some potency in attack, the likes of a Semenyo, Ivan Nelson. Those forwards could haunt Liverpool, especially with how we saw Liverpool defending in that game, in particular, a competitive, friendly, you could say, versus Crystal Palace. This one, the first 3 points are on display. With Liverpool not fully settled, a lot of unfamiliar faces being incorporated in that team. Uh, while I expect Liverpool to win, Christoph, I think it will be a tighter affair. So my call for that match is Liverpool to win that one, 2-1. I do feel Bournemouth will get on the score sheet. I just don't at this point trust that Liverpool defense. They will always give you a chance or two. So I expect Bournemouth to take at least one of those chances. But Liverpool with a superior firepower in front of their home fans, I do expect uh them to outscore Bournemouth. So for me, 2-1 to Liverpool, and that's the game on Friday, the standalone game. But we move on, Christoph. Many more matches, all 20 teams are on showing, and the next game on the agenda, we go over into Saturday. We have a big matchup. Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Aston Villa versus Newcastle. And news coming out of Aston Villa, Christoph, is that the Jamaican Leon Bailey possibly may be on the move to Italy. He has been heavily linked with AS Roma over there in the Italian league, the Serie A. We have to keep a close eye on that one. But what's your take on this game and what's your call? Who wins? Who comes out victorious for that one? Aston Villa at home versus Newcastle, who has been in the news for missing out on a number of high-profile transfer targets, Christoph.
Um, Depending on how Newcastle is feeling after missing out on those targets and star man. Alexander Isak refusing to play, it could be a difficult challenge for them. Um, if Isak was playing, I would say I would go in favor of Newcastle. Even though it's playing at Villa, but right now I think I will go in favor of Villa if Newcastle is not if Isak is not playing, in my opinion. I think Aston Villa is stronger than them without Isak. So I will go Aston Villa to win 2-1. I think, it's I am interested to see what Unai Emery has up his sleeve for this first game.
Yes, this is one of those more, what should I say, equal type matchup, I would say. So on that note, equal equals draw.
It's a
So
it's a very equal game, but I'm not necessarily sold on a draw.
yeah, well, the reason for me saying a draw, I just feel that this Newcastle team will galvanize under Eddie Howe with, as you mentioned, Isak refusing to play. I just think that will draw the squad closer together and give a good showing of themselves, especially in this first match. So one can look at possibly the likes of Garden leading the line in this one, Christoph, with the addition of Ilanga and possibly Murphy on the other flank, forming that three-man attack. Gardner has played at the centre forward position before in the past, last season in particular, when Isak may have been out injured or suspended. So that position is not necessarily new to him. And I believe Eddie Howe, away from home, will manage to get something from this game. So I am going to call this one a scoring draw. I'm going to go 2-2, Christoph, but I feel this one will draw. So 2-2 is my call for that game. Then we have another big game, Brighton versus Fulham. Brighton versus Fulham. Brighton at home, Fulham the away team for this one.
I'll lean towards the home team again. Brighton start of the season. Yeah, they have some preseason matches under them, under each of their belts. I don't.
Brighton have been firing in preseason. That is why I will give them the edge. They are one of the teams in form as it relates to preseason results. So for that reason, definitely I would favor Brighton to get a win in this game in
I mean,
particular.
I don't use preseason form to judge teams unless they've been losing badly in the
What
preseason.
about winning heavily, which has been what Brighton has been doing? Brighton has
Also,
not lost any
also
of their preseason friendly.
it could
So that
also be
must count for
deceptive.
something.
Could also be deceptive. Is the
Could
preseason?
also be, but what
Uh,
else to
in
go by? I
in
mean,
in
a number of their players are on farm.
for me, in the preseason, some teams don't care necessarily about winning those preseason games. It's about getting minutes in, experimenting, tweaking to see what works, what does not work. So I don't read
Well, I
heavily
mean,
into them.
the victories you're getting suggests what you've been doing in training is working. So
Not
that breeds
necessarily.
confidence within the squad. Winning
Not
is always a
necessarily.
good thing in my opinion.
Not necessarily. A number of years ago, Manchester United, after Sir Alex, Manchester United used to go into every preseason and winning games heavily, winning
Okay.
matches, and they looked impressive. Only to start the season, flop, they lose the first
But
game, and
would you,
then
all right, so question to you, having utilized that analogy,
mm,
would you, as a manager, want to go into a season, play the six preseason friendlies and lost all six, or played all six and won all six? Which
yeah,
which would you rather?
winning
If
all
those are your two
six can
options.
be deceptive.
But
Hear
that
me
is
out,
what
hear me out.
Brighton has been doing. Brighton has
Hear me
been
out.
winning all their preseason
All
games.
right, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. All right, let's say Bayern Munich, for instance. Let's say Bayern Munich, played six preseason friendlies, and the six of them were against MLS teams, and they won
Right.
all six, 6-0, 7-0, 12-0, 1-0. What did Bayern learn from those preseason games?
Well, they learn how to win if they weren't winning, and players would have
But,
garnered
no, but
confidence from
they
bagging up these teams,
They
etc.
they have they have beat some bottom tier teams 6-0, 12-0. You have learned nothing. You don't know the level of your players or anything like that. So For me, it also depends on the quality
But
of the
that's not the case.
opposition.
All right, let me go through Brighton's result in
No,
their recent
okay,
friendlies.
go ahead.
So they played Stoke City. They won that one 3 goals to 1. Played
So,
against Las Palmas 2-0. Drew 2-2 with Southampton and then finish off their preseason with a 2-1 win over Wolfsburg.
all
So
right,
in that run, they have gone 3 wins and 1 draw.
all right. Hear me out. Hear
Scoring,
me out. Hear me out. Before that,
right,
hear me out. Stoke City is in the championship, yeah?
right,
Championship, right? Southampton just got relegated,
correct.
right? Las Palmas is still in La Liga, or did they go down?
I think they're still in La Liga.
Okay, so Las Palmas, good team, relatively speaking. They won 2-0, fine. Wolfsburg, you know the name, but we know that the overall quality of the Bundesliga is poor. So I don't read into that game. I'm not going to read into the Stoke game and the Southampton game because these are teams that were lower than you already. All right?
Right.
They played Wolfsburg twice and won both. Impressive, but it tells me nothing about where Brighton is. All those teams I would consider lesser than Brighton. They didn't, to me, they didn't play anybody at or above their level to gauge where you are.
Well, that being said, what's your call for this game versus Fulham?
Brighton. No, but that's the
So
first thing I said. That was the first
Brighton,
thing I
okay.
said.
So what,
I
what
think
what's
Brighton.
what's the correct score you're going with?
I think 2-0 Brighton.
2-0. I think Fulham will score, and Brian isn't really known for keeping clean sheets, so I'm gonna go 2-1 to Brighton. I think Brighton has enough firepower. Confidence is running through that squad. That squad is young, hungry, very talented, and I think they will come away with a win versus Fulham at home in front of their fans over there at the Amex Stadium. Next up on the agenda, we have another interesting game. We have Sunderland versus West Ham. Sunderland at home, newly promoted team, versus West Ham, a team that flattered to deceive last season, finishing the lower half of the tables, and will be looking to galvanize and push on this season. I did see them in a preseason friendly as well, Christoph. And I would say, given that outlook, I have to go with West Ham to get something from this game. While a draw would not surprise me. So I'm gonna go with a draw, to be honest. I'm gonna
I
lean
mean,
towards a draw with
I think I
Sunderland in front of their home
I
fans.
would go with West Ham regardless because in the last couple of years the promoted teams have not done well coming up. And definitely have not done well in their first games, finding their footing and so on. So I would go to West Ham as well.
Well, the reason for the draw, well, I'm not going with West Ham. I'm going for a draw.
Oh, you're going for a
Draw,
draw. Okay.
draw is my call for that one. I just think of the teams promoted, Sunderland have made some very interesting signings, Christoph. They have brought in the former Arsenal man who went over Germany and became an invincible with Bayer Leverkusen. The man I speak of is Granit Xhaka, Christoph, a talisman, a club legend for Arsenal while he was here in the EPL. He has returned now under the banner of Sunderland, and he should bring a vast array of experience to that team and playing this one in front of their home fans. That is why I'm giving this one a draw, that Sunderland will get something from this game. I'm calling this game 1-1.
Honestly, strange move by Granit Xhaka, but I guess he really did
Strange.
not
Why,
want.
why would you say strange? I
I
mean,
guess
he's
he
back in the best league in the world.
yeah, but you're going to a team that was newly relegated, newly promoted. So, potentially there might be a reduction in salary from
Well, possibly
Leverkusen.
he signed that contract with some sort of relegation clause.
Maybe. It seemed like a strange move, but I guess he really didn't want to play for Ten Hag, probably. So,
Well, interesting. I mean, maybe the offer from Sunderland was too good to refuse. And as I said, you're back in England, you're back on familiar territories, you're no longer under the shadow of Arsenal, and you now have the freedom to express yourself and show us what you have. I mean, as I said, after going invincible over there in Germany, losing a single game in the season, Christoph. They nearly
How do you
did the
lose?
impossible.
How do you lose a single game and become invincible?
No, well, they went undefeated in the league. Isn't that what Arsenal did as well? But lost several games in the Champions League.
Arsenal won the league unbeaten, but obviously there are other
Right, which is what Leverkusen
competitions.
did as well. They won
Yeah,
their league unbeaten, but they lost one single game, and that was the final of the Europa League versus who was that? That was Atalanta, I believe.
Atalanta
So, right.
completely blew them away in that final. Shocking
Ah,
result, to be honest.
stranger things have happened. The next game we have on the list here is Tottenham versus Burnley, another newly promoted team versus Tottenham, Champions League competitive this season, having lost to PSG, Christoph, in the European Super Cup, leading PSG 2 goals to nil. PSG coming from behind to level that one 2-2 and then taking things in the penalty shootout. A rather disappointing end to that game for Tottenham, Christoph, having gone up 2 goals to nil. They have to brush that off now and take on Burnley come Saturday. Can they do it? Can they shake off the disappointment of Europe and lift themselves to face this Burnley team and go out there and get a result? What's your call for this game? They
I,
are
I,
your North London rivals.
Honestly, watching that game for the longest time, I actually thought Tottenham would probably win that game. PSG looked nothing like winning. It feels to me like Tottenham shot themselves in the leg in that game. To be honest, I was even talking to people in a group chat at the same time, and I was like, well, at the same time, all of us just put Spurs being Spurs. Can't believe that you let them score two in the in 80 plus minute, 90 plus minute, and then come back. I think that defeat will definitely be sitting with them. I don't know if they will shake it off for this first game. Again, I said newly promoted teams don't generally do that great in more recent seasons. So I think it's a draw for me in this first game. I think it's a
Oh,
draw.
draw. Wow. Oh, that's a shocking
There
result.
were for Spurs. I think there were a lot of positives from that PSG game. Key among them was their set piece performance. So I guess they've copied Arsenal in that regard, in that they went in, they got a coach who is good at set pieces in Thomas Frank, and we saw the fruits of that in the PSG game. And Mohamed Kudos had done excellently for me against PSG. If he brings that energy to this first game against Burnley, I think they can win. I feel like it's a draw though. I feel like the disappointment of that loss is potentially still there coming into this game because it's pretty close. It's not like they've had a week to kind of sit or think about it and get over it. They've had like a couple days. So um
I
I
I
go with
think
a
so.
draw.
I think superior talent will win out in this game, Christoph. Spurs all the way. Definitely a Spurs win. I think that game versus PSG shows them where their level is. That was a good measuring stick for them. And they would have taken a lot of confidence from this game, in my opinion, even though they lost in the penalty shootout.
I
It would
I
have
I
showed that they can mix it with the big boys, so to speak.
I honestly don't know if there was a lot of information. There was a lot of information. I also remember, to me at least, it feels like PSG have been poor since losing that final to Chelsea. So it's not like they did not play PSG at their best. So there is positives from that game, but it could be it, it's also a bit deceptive, in my opinion.
I don't think it's anything deceptive.
No,
Thomas
no, no,
Frank
no, no,
have
no, no,
gone
no.
in and
Not the
galvanized this
performance.
team.
No, not the performance
New
was
coach
deceptive.
Bones.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm saying Spurs looked good in that game. The rest of their preseason games, to me, they did not
Right.
look good. All right. I thought
Well, it will take a while for the
that game,
philosophy of the coach to shine through and for
I
him to get
agree.
know his best 11.
I
Maybe in
agree.
those preseason game he was doing a bit of experimenting, but now we're seeing the best 11 on display. And to be honest, they look good to me. So I expect them to
Spurs,
blow Burnley away in this game.
I think Spurs can do really well if they get themselves a new centre forward. I don't think Richarlison is it. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely. But Solanke, isn't Solanke good enough to lead the line? They do
but
have Solanke in the ranks. Who does it an
he's not
addition? They tried to
he's
get
not start, but
Morgan Gibbs White,
he's
failed
not
there.
starting. He's not starting. I think
So,
Solanke is better than Richarlison, but obviously
uh,
maybe Richarlison offers something that they want. But Richarlison is a player who I think is much worse than people think realize that he is. All right, he's not very good in my opinion. Replace him, bench him, whatever. Solanke should start, or you get yourself a new centre forward. In my opinion,
so
for
come
Spurs.
come Saturday, who do you expect to start up front though?
I don't know who they'll start up front. I think they will
My
proceed.
money is on Solanke, to be honest. Possibly Richarlison gets rotated out and
Okay,
Solanke
well,
leads the line.
I think Solanke should lead the line. Should be your first choice centre forward, starting the season, and then it's up to him to keep that spot and up to Richarlison to provide competition and try and take the spot from him.
I'm
Again,
gonna go for a 1-0 in this one for Spurs. 1-0.
I think it's definitely potentially a scoring draw, 1-1. And again, my reasoning is that they lost that game. I think they will take that to heart. But the biggest thing for me is that they did play well against PSG. They
Yes,
looked
man, they played
impressive.
well against the European, the Champions League winners. That is no easy feat.
Um,
I
I
think that
would
is a good measuring stick for where Spurs are currently, and
no.
that quality will shine through versus
I
Burnley. Is
no.
my call,
What I
especially with a new
learned
coach.
what I learned in that game is that Spurs are playing better football than they did last season. Granted, last season Ange had a lot of injuries as well. They are playing better than they did last season. But for me, I don't you saying that they played well against the European champions is a bit misleading in my opinion because the truth of the matter is PSG did not play
All
well
right, so
and
question to
that
you
was
though.
not down to how Spurs was playing.
Question to you. What do you think the scoreline would have been if Burnley played PSG?
If Burnley played PSG and how
Yes.
PSG was playing for that in that game, a draw. If Burnley played PSG, how PSG was playing that game, it would have been a draw.
Come on, come on, come on. I think
It
you're
would have been
taking
a
away
draw.
from the Spurs quality,
No, no,
Christoph.
no, no.
But the time is a master. Time will tell. We'll definitely revisit this result
They
on
will
Monday when we
they
do a
will
review.
no, they will definitely do well this first season because as I said and as history has shown us, Spurs managers always do well this first season. I'm just
Mm,
talking about this specific game that I think
right,
is
right.
going
So
to be
you're
a
calling a
draw.
draw for this one.
I think it's a 1-1 draw.
All right, enough said about this game. I say 1-0. I said Spurs win, and I think 1-0, 2-0, somewhere thereabouts. We have Wolves versus Man City, Christoph. Wolves versus Man City. Wolves at home, Man City the away team. For me, the Man City quality should shine through, so this should be Man City's first 3 points of the season. So I think this is what should I say, a routine Man City win. I'm gonna go 3 goals to nil. Man City to win 3 goals to nil. What says you?
I think Man City win this one as well. Um,
Yeah, I think this should be a fairly straightforward game. Wolves could possibly be among the relegation candidates, Christoph, in all honesty. I mean, they did make a resurgence last season under this current coach that they have, but I don't think they're out of the woods. They did lose their talisman, Cunha, to Man City, I mean, Manchester United. But in my opinion, they have made one of the signings of the season, which has gone under the radar. The Brazilian Arias. Christoph, he was very impressive in the Club World Cup. He plays his football previously for Fluminense, I believe, and he has now been signed by Wolves. I think he could make a big difference in that Wolves team. He is an all-round good player and he has gone under the radar. He is definitely one of the transfers to watch for me going into this season.
who did they
But
sign? Sergio Arias?
Arias, yes, Arias. No, not. I don't think his first name is Sergio, but Arias. Fluminense. Uh, you could say midfielder slash false nine type striker. Attacking player, he plays across that
Oh,
entire midfield.
John Arias.
Right,
Okay.
right. He has gone on the radar in terms of transfer, but I think he is a very good signing and he should have, if he can bring what he has been bringing in that Brazilian league, he should have some success in this EPL, both scoring open play goals. He's an expert at set pieces as well, and he is a very creative player. Should rack up some goals and some assists. So he's one of the players I'll be looking at during the course of this season. But this should be a routine win, in my opinion, for Man City. Too much quality for this Wolves team to handle. That's pretty much an easy analysis. Too much talent from the Man City ranks. What was your call? Did you give us a call for that?
Yeah,
I'm
Man
saying
City.
3-0.
I think that's a fair score. I think Man City win 3-1 though. I think
3-1.
Wolves potentially get a goal.
Okay, no problem. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace, Christoph. Community Shield winners versus Club World Cup winners. Chelsea at home, Crystal Palace the away team, and this is a London derby, Christoph. This one should be one of the games of the weekend to watch. What says you in terms of this game? I think this
Chel
is to start off. I think this is one of the games which potentially has upset written all over
so you don't believe you don't believe in the Chelsea signings in the Chelsea.
It's not a case of not necessarily believing in the Chelsea signings. It's a case of believing in the Crystal Palace team. And I think Crystal Palace could go in there and get themselves a draw, is my call. I think this game could very well end 2-2. So I'm going to go with a draw in this game, a scoring draw. Crystal Palace to go into Stamford Bridge and get themselves a draw. They have had a tremendous preseason. Mateta, he is on fire. He is one of the farm players coming out of the preseason. And we saw that in the game versus Liverpool. He tucked away a neat penalty and was a constant threat to that backline. Eze, he is the creative spark in that Crystal Palace team. And you also have the attacking wild play of Munoz, a solid defensive shield from Wharton. And then, of course, you have a formidable centre back pairing led by Gehi. So to me, Crystal Palace has all the tools to go into Chelsea, grab themselves a point. And of course, Glasner has been getting the job done, taking the scalps of Pep in the FA Cup final and now taking the scalp of Slot in the Community Shield. Who is next on the agenda? Is it the Chelsea coach, Maresca? His scalp could go to this Crystal Palace team as well. So for me, I'm going to go with Crystal Palace 2, Chelsea 2. What says you?
I think Chelsea will win this 3-2.
3-2.
I think Crystal Palace has goals in them. I think, however, Chelsea potentially has just a little more. Cole Palmer, the season is fresh, you're just starting. And Cole Palmer is very effective, very deadly on that counter attack, in my opinion. I think Crystal Palace will go and try and play and take the game to them, and they will get some reward, they will get goals, but I think Chelsea will win 3-2.
3-2 is your call. All right. Then we have Forest Brentford, Krista. Forest Brentford. Brentford being tipped for the drop versus Forest, which you could say was the surprise team of the season last year. They've lost a number of players. Ilanga going to Newcastle. For me, this is a Forest win. Forest at home versus Brentford. I'm gonna go with a win for Forest. Chris Wood coming up with the goods, supported by Callum Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, a real attacking threat from that midfield. And I think Forest will have enough. I expect them also to keep a clean sheet versus Brentford, with Brentford being decimated by the loss of Mbumo and also Wiss's head being turned in terms of getting a transfer out of the club. So uh attack might be toothless. Nottingham Forest last season sells their goalkeeper, shared the golden gloves, Christoph. Let's not forget that Sells shared the Golden Glove with Raya of Arsenal. So, and much of that backline is unchanged. So I expect the defense of Forest to be airtight again this season. And I expect that to start with a 1-0 win over Brentford in this game.
Ah, I think this is a harder to call than you might think because if you look at Nottingham Forest did not win a single preseason match, and
But how many clean sheet did they keep during that period?
during the preseason,
That's right.
what, one, two, three, five clean sheets.
There you go. So they start from the defense. I just think they have enough to pip one goal versus Brentford and to keep another clean sheet. That is why I went with the score 1-0.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, just pip a goal, maybe on the counter from a set piece, a breakaway from a Chris Wood, and then just keep a clean sheet. So
Mm.
I'm tipping them for a 1-0 win. What's your call though?
I think I will go with either a draw or a win to Brentford, I think.
So you're leaning towards Brentford. Wow.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't read into if you win every single one of your preseasons, but if you don't win any of your preseasons, it's a question mark. Something is happening there that I think probably needs to be addressed. So,
Interesting.
um, maybe the attack is misfiring. Like I think what they only scored two in what the 7 or 8 games that they played. They only scored two, so
Well, I
the
mean, but
attack.
going by your words, you can't read too much into
No, no,
preseason.
no, no, no. I read, like I said, I read into the preseason. If you don't win, if you win
Mm,
everything, fine. I don't necessarily take that as you're as gospel as you're going to go and dominate the league. Alright? But if you don't win, not even one of your preseason games, in my opinion, if you lose all of them, question mark. If you don't win even one, still a question mark. There's still an adjustment. And for me, um we can see that, obviously they had 5 clean sheets in the preseason. So like you said, the defense is firing. The defense looks good. What is the issue with the attack for me? So if 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 they couldn't work out the attack in the preseason, and I obviously they've had a week or two to make a final adjustment. So maybe they found it, but I don't know. So right now, I'm going to go with a draw or Brentford to win 2-1, 2-0 at
okay,
the
all right,
moment.
no problem. Well,
The,
we
the,
saved the best for last, viewers and subscribers. The biggest game of the opening week of the 2025-2026 EPL season. It is Manchester United versus Arsenal, Christoph, and I will allow you the courtesy of calling this one first up. What's your scoreline for this game without going into any deep explanations? What is your call from the gun?
Arsenal to win 2-0.
Arsenal to win 2-0. I am not gonna disagree with that call. I feel Arsenal should win away from home as well. They are a more settled team. They have now the missing part that fans have been clamoring for, Gokieres, and they have the supply line behind him, which has gone relatively unchanged. One new incoming, Zubimendi, replacing Partey, but for the most part, it should be a familiar starting 11 for Arsenal. So this Arsenal 11 should probably have two additions compared to last season, Christoph. Gokieres and Zubimendi. All the others should be familiar with each other. On the other hand, Manchester United have made several signings. So to me, as well as the run of poor result from the previous season, finishing in 15th and bringing in a number of players, Sesko, Embu, Mokunya. Uh, so again, at Old Trafford, but I'm gonna go with an Arsenal win as well. Possibly, I think United will get a goal. So I gonna call this one 2-1 for Arsenal. The away win. I believe for me, this is probably the first game of that list that I'm calling an away win. The others have been draw, but this is the first away win. So Arsenal to win 2-1. What more can we say though, Christoph? What are you expecting quickly in terms of gameplay? What's the approach do you think Arteta will take to get those 3 points?
Based on what I saw in the preseason, I think Arsenal are going to play very aggressive. They're going to play very high. There's going to be a lot of players forward. I think only Saliba and Gabriel will be left back in most cases. So for me, Arsenal do need to be wary of the Manchester United counter attack, specifically Mbeumo. He looked impressive in preseason. I don't know if it's like a new signing bounce or what, but he in particular looked impressive. Bruno Fernandes did look good in preseason, but again, there was I don't remember who it was, that petulance that he has coming out in the preseason, getting into a bust up and field with the
Endai, that
opposition.
was Endai of Everton.
In a preseason game, I mean, come on. Be a little bit more mature than that. The preseason, it didn't mean anything. You get a tackle, it's cool. But again, no, I think for me right now, those are Man United's two danger players. I don't know what Sesko will bring because we haven't seen him play any games at the moment. He is pacey on the counter attack as well. So we'll see. I expect that they'll start him. I don't see them playing Rasmus Højlund or Xerxes, to be honest. But
Okay.
I think Arsenal have more attacking options, the more cohesive team at the moment, and obviously the better goalkeeper.
Okay, all right, no
Arsenal
problem.
really just need to shoot.
Got you. So Arsenal to win then, Christoph. Two
Arsenal to
goals to
win
nil, you're saying?
2-0.
2-0. I'm gonna call that one Arsenal to win, 2 goals to 1. And then the final game, Christoph. Quick fire. As we're quickly running out of time. Leeds Everton. What's your call for that one? Leeds at
Everton.
home versus Everton.
Everton.
I'm gonna go with a Leeds 1-0. So we differ in that one as well. But that's all the time we have, Christoph. That is all the time we have. We have exhausted our time previewing these opening fixtures of the EPL season. Viewers and subscribers, thank you again for tuning in to us here on Beating the Press podcast. Please help us to continue to grow by leaving your comments. Give us your predictions. Who do you think will win that Manchester United versus Arsenal game? And of course, if you haven't subscribed as yet, hit that subscription bell. Also, share, share, share. But until next time, Christoph, this is Rafa signing off.